What's going on, guys? This is Microlink here, and today we'll talk about the Fedora Man, or the Nightmare, or better known as Freddy Krueger. Freddy is a 150 movement speed killer and has an average of 32-meter terror radius. He's an average size killer, and his power is Dream Demon. His power consists of three different powers. The first one is the Dream Demon. Uh, Freddy can pull survivors into the dream world. How he can, through if he hits a survivor, he pulls immediately, and in the beginning of the match, a timer of 1 minute starts to count down. When it counts down, all survivors go to the dream world. How to get out of this dream world? There are three different ways. You can pick one. Uh, Missing a skill check from healing or through repairing, or being woke up by another survivor. These two actions restart immediately the clock. Basically, when you finished being woken up, or when you miss a skill check, the counter starts going down again. And finally, when you go to sleep after Freddy hits you, or when the clock runs down, a clock. Survivors will see a clock of a yellow, white order. Excuse me, that will appear in the other edge of where they are. If they go to that clock, there's going to be a really fast action, and when they do, the clock stays paused for a little bit of time, then it restarts again. Second part of his ability, his power ability, is a dream snare or dream pallets. Dream snares is what he has. Normally, dream pallets it is required an add-on. Dream Snare, uh, Freddy can put 8 at maximum. In the ground, what it does is as follows. Each time a survivor that is in the dream world steps on it, it gets hindered, meaning that they'll get slowed for a small period of time, and that's it. This Dream Snare is a perfect anti-looping ability that grants Freddy a little bit of advantage to catch up to them. The pallets are fake pallets that only appear in the dream world as well. That only exist to mind game them. Then you have the other ability that is the teleportation or dream projection. If you if you hold the active ability button, which mine is control, you start to do a channel. In the end of the channel, it'll teleport to a generator that you choose. And if you want it, you can cancel it. This is very good for mind games. And let's get on to the teachable perks. There are three of them. As usual, Fire Up, Remember Me, and Blood Warden. Remember Me is probably the best one out of these three. That's not saying much because they are all basically trash. Remember Me, it's an obsession made perk, which means that you'll create an obsession, and each time you hit an obsession, you get a token that increases the time that it is required to open an exit gate. Remember that Remember Me does not affect the obsession. Then we have Fire Up. Each time a generator is done, you get a stack that grants you buffs to basically all you can do. You have a maximum of 5 stacks due to the fact that survivors require only 5 generators to open to fuel up the exit gates. Then we have Blood Warden. When the exit gates are open and the end game starts, every survivor that steps into the exit area are revealed to you through an aura. And if you want every once per match, if you hook a survivor, you basically will lock the exit gate, meaning that survivors cannot escape at a maximum of 1 minute at max rank. So let's talk about the build I recommend. Remember that starting now, I'll recommend at least one teachable perk in every build, so you have a simple idea of what's going on. Due to the fact that some killers have trashy perks, and the meta is basically is for has only 4 perks that are really good. but I'll try to do a, a build that requires one of the teachables. So let's start with Freddy. Rancor is an obsession made perk that creates an obsession. Each time a generator is completed, the obsession can see you, your aura for 30 seconds, and you can see all other survivors' location for 3 seconds as well. Once the all generators are done, you can you can one shot the obsession because it is exposed, and you can kill them. This combined with Remember Me makes a nasty combo due to the fact that Remember Me does not work on obsessions, and Hacker makes the obsession afraid of being seen due to the fact that they know they are afflicted by rancor and they can be killed and more. Next up is Rune. It's an export, meaning that it leads up to totem, and if the totem is cleansed, this ability is gone. What this does is as follows: each time a generator progression stays without survivors, it starts automatically regressing twice as speed. This is really good for the playstyle that we talk about after the add-ons. Next is if you want a safer build, you have Corrupt Intervention. Corrupt Intervention it does as follows: when you start the match, the three furthest generators from you are blocked for 2 minutes at maximum rank. This is good due to the playstyle you're going to have if you want a safer playstyle. A more aggressive playstyle, you can switch up with the Thermophobia. Each time a survivor is injured, dying, or in the hook, every other survivor receives maximum in the max rank of Thermophobia a penalty of 5%, maximum 20 to repairs, sabotage, and totems. This is really punishing to depending on the playstyle you want, but if you want Titanophobia, you'll want more aggressive playstyle that I'll be talking about after the add-ons. Well, let's keep it up with add-ons. I like to have the swing chains and the jump rope due to the fact that it basically makes survivors do the actions really slow, and it's amazing for stalling. By the way, if you want the dream pellets instead of the dream snares, you have to use garden rake instead of one of these two, instead of an add-on. Basically, the playstyle the playstyle is very easy. Find your obsession, whack them to get stacks of Remember Me, and if you want a more aggressive build, try to injure all of them or put them down, put it in the hook, so you can have Tetanophobia stacked up. Let me just, yeah. If you want more safer playstyle and we go with Corrupt, you basically want to lead them through you, and you whack them to put them rapidly into the dream state. Your main objective is put everyone into the dream state, so the game will stall a lot, making it almost impossible to the survivors making generators and do anything actually. Healing, it takes too long with this combo. And if you want, the more aggressive the merrier. The Tetanophobia, even though you lose pressure, but you gain that punishing if everyone doesn't heal, very punishing 20% of repairing. It's really dreadful for the survivors. They'll feel a lot slower and really bad. And to put salts in the wounds, each time you see a survivor doing a generator and you go chase them, they leave the generator that they work really hard to do, and when they come back, you'll see that basically it's 0 or 0 at least. That's really punishing. Being caught, being not sneaky against Freddy is really punishing due to the effect of our add-ons, and if you're aggressive to Thermophobia, makes it really hard when they see they lost all their progression. But a safer build, they if they have 3 generators for you blocked, and generally they spawn in those situations. They have 2 options: or they do cleansing and search for chests, which is great for you. You're wasting their time, and they're going to be put to sleep passively, or they come towards you, towards generators that are closest to you, which is great for you as well, because you can whack them and put it to the dream state immediately, doing the add-ons combo that will ruin basically their lives. In the end game, you'll see that the generators are all done. Imagine that if you have all survivors still alive, and with a good stack of Remember Me, you go after the obsession, you marry them, and you go to the exit gate, and you'll see that they didn't even open the exit gates. The more it takes around 12 seconds, and go. It's really long, but if you didn't have Remember Me, basically if you get there, they'll be up. The case will be open, and they'll be leaving. But remember me, you'll be seeing that they are in the halfway or still in the beginning, and it's really punishing for them. Great maps for Freddy are those that are somewhat big, somewhat a little bit with a lot of stuff to hide, to increase the spook factor, because survivors in the dream world are oblivious, which means they don't hear your terror radius and they hear the lullaby. If you have a lot of stuff in between you and the survivor will not know where you came from and increase the spooky factor. And so maps like uh, Deck Dog Saloon, like the dust, if you want to, they're offering the Dusty News and the school, Midwich School. It's great for Freddy. This has been it. I have been Mia Crawling, and I hope you enjoyed this great video about Freddy. And like and comment down below which killer or survivor you want to see next. See ya.